All right, first thing we're going to go over is making a listing page for whatever entity you have. Uh, so, first things first, we need to make a new folder in our pages directory, and I'll call this the products page directory. And new file product listing .tsx. So there we go, file made. First thing we got to do is export const product listing equals parentheses, and we'll return nothing. So there we go, no more compile errors, but we need to actually get some data. So go ahead and set it up for storing products. So const product set products equals use state, and this is going to be of type product get DTO array. So next thing to do then would be to come into our types and make an actual product get DTO type, which I will just copy from where I did earlier. Boom, product get DTO. So we come in here and we do add import and add import. Boom, product set products. All right, first step done. Next thing we need to do then is probably fetch the data. So we'll do use effect. Okay. And we'll make our async function. So async function fetch products. And we'll do const response equals await API dot get. And notice I added the import for API. API dot get from slash API slash products. Now, next thing we do, we're going to add a type to this. This return type is going to be of API response of type product get DTO array. Okay, one more little pointy thing. And so now that we have the response, we're awaiting it, we can do if response dot data dot has errors. We'll go ahead and just show notification of, we'll just say error fetching products. Cool. Now if response dot data, we'll do set products to this thing here. Perfect. Add the import for use effect, and at the very top of the function we need to call fetch products. Boom. So now we have an array of product get DTOs being stored in this products variable. So now, not a whole lot else to do besides actually show the data. So first things first, I'm going to just do the parentheses here so that it formats it a little bit better. And we'll start with a container. This is just a Mantine UI thing, make stuff look pretty. And we'll go with a header, and we'll have it say products. Add that import. We need to give it a height. I'll just do 32. Why not? Cool thing they also have, you can add a space. All this is going to do is add like vertical space for us. And we'll do, it's the wrong import. Need to import it from Mantine Core. And we'll say height equals, let's do medium space. Cool. So then after that, we'll do a table. Add that import, and we'll do with border and striped. I feel like those look good. So we'll start a table header, and we'll do a table row and a cell. So a table heading cell. So now in this heading, we'll do name. Just copy this. We'll do description, and we'll do price. Cool. So that should be it for our table header. So next thing, we'll do the table body. And now the different thing is going to be inside of the table body. We're going to map over our list of products. So we'll do products.map. And each product will take in a single product here. There's too many things there, so I'm just going to restart it. Products.map. There we go. Product and return a table row with the table data inside of that with product dot, we'll do dot name because it's the first header we did. Then we'll do dot description and then dot price. Cool. So then there's our basic page made, but it doesn't show up anywhere over here. So the next thing we need to do is we need to go into our routes and add a route for this. We'll do product listing is going to be at route/products. Good enough for me. We'll go into our config. We'll just copy what's already there. We'll change this to routes.product listing. I forgot the G. Products listing. And we'll change the element to be instead the product listing. I'm going to move this on top of the home page, put it underneath the user page just so all of our pages will kind of be together. Okay, so import error in the product listing. So for some reason container wanted to import from the wrong place. Change that over and now we're good. So now if we go to /products, it'll show up, but I want this to show up in the nav bar. So I'll go to the components and I'll go to navigation. And this little block of code right here is all we need to care about. You don't need to look at anything else and all the fanciness going on. All we need to do is come here under user or wherever you really want this to be. And we just add another object. We'll do text will be products. The hide will be false. And the nav will be to route product listing. Okay, perfect. So now we should get a products button here, and when we click on it, boom. It takes all of the data we had in the database for our products, which one of the same branch Logan was on, so I'm assuming this is stuff that Logan did in his videos. We have Hairspray, Everbook, and Jalapeno Lime Cheetos. All that fun stuff. Listed out nicely in a table for us. Got our header that says products, cool little line underneath it. So yeah, there's the basic getting stuff onto the screen from the API. So quick little recap. The most important thing right here is probably our use effect, where we're declaring our async function here. And when we call API.get, we give it the return type of what we expect to get back from our API. So in this instance, it's an API response of type product get DTO array, which coincidentally should be the same thing that we're storing in state up here. And then once this response comes back, we can say if it has errors, just say that there's an error fetching it. So for example, if I change the route, we'll probably get an error when we try to fetch it, or it just won't fetch it at all. But then if there's no error, just set the products to whatever the data is, and then it can start listing it out. Now, again, I kind of went over this in class, but the unfortunate thing with this is, I forgot to do a dependency array. So you see it's kind of like infinitely fetching stuff down here. It's because I was dumb. and forgot to tell it to only run this once. So now we're not making requests anymore. It finally stopped. We're at 1,300 requests, but now that I added this dependency array, we're all good. So the unfortunate thing though is if we are on a slow connection, like if I just do 3G and I come to this page, the table, I'll go down a little bit slower, the table loads before all the data is actually there, and then you end up with like some weird jumping around stuff where like stuff just pops in. It's a little odd. So I prefer to, instead of doing this little question mark here, because we get the error saying it's possibly undefined, I prefer to just, before we render this table at all, to do products and then I'll do parentheses, take those last two characters and put them after the table end tag. And now this whole table will only show up once the products is loaded. So if we go back, come in here, you can see that the table itself, the whole thing, does not show up until the products are there. And you could do what's called a ternary, where we do like a question mark. So it's like, if this is true, render this, and then we can do colon. We'll want to render something else, so I'm sure they have like a loader. And this will show like a loading indicator, probably, if I did it right. So let's see. I probably need to do active or something. Let's find out. We'll do it together. Mantine, get started. Loader. Cool. Should just work. It's probably just not showing up because it doesn't take long enough. But in theory, it should show a loader. There you go. There it was for a second there. So you can do that if you want, but as long as you're just running this locally, you should never hit issues where you like need to see a loader and you kind of get like a weird pop in there if you do do it on local. So I usually just recommend, for this class at least, just not showing anything until it loads. That way you don't end up with like the loader showing up for like a half a second. All right. Now, one more fun thing we can do on this listing page is we're going to need eventually some way to update things, and probably the easiest way to do that is going to be, it's very similar to the create, but as far as getting to that page, there's not really going to be like an update product button because you need to know which product you're updating, right? So what I usually do is I'll add like an extra table heading here, and then inside of the first table data, we'll do a font awesome icon, and this is just a very commonly used icon library. It's free. We'll do icon equals FA pencil. Cool, we'll go with that one. And we'll give this an onClick function. And what I want this to do is whenever I click this button, I want it to take me to this specific product's update page. So for now, because I don't have the full update page made, and that's going to be probably the next video, I'll just make a shell of one. So I'll do product-update.tsx. And we'll just do export const product update equals return and we'll just do a header here, height equals 32, and we'll just say update page. Good enough for me. We'll do the last thing, which is going into here. We'll add a product update routes, which will be /products. Now this is where it's going to be a little bit different from everything else, where this isn't going to be /product/update. It'll be /:ID, and it'll become obvious why in just a second. So what we're going to do, going to copy this right here, change this to product update, and change the element to product update as well. Cool. Now that part's done. I don't necessarily want to add a button up here for product update because we don't know which product we're going to update if it's just sitting there at the top. So the way we get around that is on our listing page, we do this icon, on click, all that fun stuff. And then we're going to use a hook from React Router DOM, which is what controls what page shows up whenever we go to a specific route. That's React Router handling that. So we're going to say const navigate equals use navigate. This is their hook. You can see from React Router DOM. And all we'll do is on click, we'll navigate to routes dot product update, and we'll do replace. We'll replace :id with, and this is just doing string interpolation, with product.id. And what this will do is it'll replace the :id in the route we defined up here with like 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever. And then we'll use that at some point in here. But now when I click this button, it doesn't really hover yet, but we go to /product/1, and that is the update page. So I want to make that point. So I'll do const use styles equals create styles. And this is from Mantine, and this is a function, and we'll return. We'll do icon button, and we'll do cursor, I believe it is. Pointer. Cool. We'll come back up here, and we'll say const classes equals use styles. Add a little space there. And then we'll come back into the Font Awesome icon, and we'll say class name equals classes.icon button. So now whenever I hover over this, it gives me a little pointer and it indicates that you can click on this. And it takes us to /products/2. So that's how we're going to get to our update page from the listing page. All right. Next video, we'll actually go over the update page and probably the create as well. So you'll see what this does later.